quick lesson here on a review and also things that we didn't cover last time. So one of the things is to know the parts of the guitar. Okay, so right over here, what you have is called the headstock, or the head sometimes, but the headstock is the complete name. And these are the tuning keys or tuning pegs, which you use to tune the guitar. You turn these. If you turn it away from you, you're raising the pitch. If you turn it towards you, you're loosening and lowering the pitch. Here is this little plastic thing here. It's called the nut, and this is actually where the guitar, where it all starts. This is where the sound that is produced. Let's say that on the first string. It's from where the nut is all the way here to where this is, and this is the bridge over here. This is the bridge right here in the beginning. So this, and what changes the pitch is actually the distance, the length of the string. If I'm pressing here, now I have a string that's only this long, and the pitch is a much higher pitch. If I was up here, even higher pitch, now I have a much shorter string. It's really high, very short piece of string here. Keep going. Ran out of frets, space. Okay, so that's the beginning of where the sound begins. Back here, you can get this kind of sound. It's used for effects, but this is where you're going to be making the sound with when you're playing guitar, when you're playing chords, when you're playing notes or chords. This metal part here is called the fret, and the space of the fret is all this from here to here, between the nut and the first fret, the little metal bar. This whole area here is what we call the first fret. This whole area here is what we call the second fret. This is the second fret, third fret, and so on. So, but you want to press as close as to the fret, which is the metal bar, to get the best sound. See here, I'm almost on top of the string of the fret. Not pressing very hard. Pressing very lightly. Don't even need my thumb. But if I move too far, look, now I'm getting this sound. And now I have to press much harder. So this is one of the things that beginners do, that they don't notice, that you have to just be very close to the fret, touching the fret to get a nice clear sound, and then you don't barely have to press down. Alright, so these are the frets. This is actually called the fretboard. These marks here are guides, and you also have them on the side here. You have them, I have them on the 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 12th. And the 12th has the double dots. It has the double there. I don't know if you can see it here. And in the front, this is the 12th. Some guitars are different. Like the others have dots. This guitar happens to have these long lines, but most guitars actually have dots, and then you have double dots here on the 12th. And the 12th is where everything starts again. This is the beginning. This is like, if I had the nut here, it's the same sound, just that this is an octave higher. An octave higher means that it's 12 tones higher. Same note, but an octave higher. Alright, so what else do we got? I think we got there. This is the body of the guitar here. The shoulders of the guitar. The back of the guitar. These are called pickups. And these two they're the microphones. They're microphones for guitars, and this is what we call the neck pickup, because this is the neck and it's closest to the neck, and this is called the bridge pickup because it's closer to the bridge back here. Guitars also have sound holes, different places. This one has the two sound holes, one here and then down here, but other guitars have it right in the middle circle. Those are like classical guitars, acoustic guitars. And if it's an electric guitar, this is not a truly electric guitar. This is can be both. It's actually connected to an amp. But if it's just an electric guitar, it's not going to even have a sound hole because the sound comes from the amp, not from the guitar. And that's pretty much an overview on all the parts of the guitar. I mean, if you have any questions, any other parts, just let me know. Alright, so next thing we want to talk about is the strings, and this is very quickly, I'm just going to go from the top down. So E, A, D, G, B, and E. And the way you remember is Eddie, 8, Dynamite, Goodbye, Eddie. Okay, and the same thing, if you want to start counting the strings from top bottom, just the same order. This is the 6th string. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1. First finger, first string, 6th string. Alright. Now I have the pick here, and I'm not going to talk too much about the pick, but the pick it needs to be comfortable. It needs to be an extension where you're mostly using your wrist and your elbow arm when you're strumming, and it's all works together. And then the pick just goes in and takes the place of your fingers. So a lot of times you don't have to have a pick. You just pretend like you have a pick and just do this, which is probably what I'm going to do to kind of leave it for if you have a pick or if you don't have a pick. Put these together like this and pretend like this finger, your pointer, is the pick. And you just want to practice going down. And what I do is I put my fingers here so I can hear. And there's a bit of a delay on the amp, so you hear that. Practice going down, going up, going all down. Practice down, up, all using the wrist. Okay. So those are the things you could do. Now, I'm not going to get into individual strings right now. Right now, I'm going to get into chords. So we're going to learn our first chord. For this, I'm going to get a little closer. Alright, so what we're going to do is we are going to play our first chord, and it's called an E minor chord. And what you're going to do is you're going to get your first finger, which is your index finger, and you're going to press on the 5th string right next to the 2nd fret. So you have this note here. You're pressing with the finger, right, not on top of it, not too far from it, but right touching against it. And if you hit, you can check by hitting all the strings. And you want to hear every note clear. If you hear something like, you have to see what's going on. In this case, I'm touching the string below it. I'm touching the 4th string with my first finger a little bit, and I'm causing that sound. So what I need to do is I need to straighten it up a little bit, lift it up so it doesn't touch the string below it, and move my fingers away. So this is not good for that. This is good. So you have to find the sweet spot. So that's the first part of the E minor chord. The next thing is you're going to take now your 2nd finger, which is your middle finger, and you're going to put it on the string below it, which is the 4th, also on the 2nd fret. So you have 2 fingers on the 2nd fret. Your first finger is on the 5th string, your 2nd finger is on the 4th string. Now notice there's a little bit of an angle here, okay? Because you can't have them both on top. There's no way you could do that. So this first finger is further away from the 2nd fret. Okay, now we do the same thing. And you check. See, I'm getting that sound there. So it looks like I'm touching the top string, the 6th string, a little bit with my index finger. So I need to find the sweet spot. Ah, there it is. All the notes are clear. I can just practice just going like this, nice and soft. Kind of like painting on the strings. You don't want to fight with the strings, because what you do is you get them you get the strings out of tune when you do that. Okay, now again, this is E minor chord, and you have your first and second fingers. First fingers on the 5th string, second fingers on the 4th string. Here's something else you could do. The shape. Well, the way we learn, guitar players learn chords is through shape. The shape of this chord is like this. It's these 2 fingers, first and second finger. So I could take that shape away and then just come back, and it takes me right back to where at the spot on the 2nd fret, right next to the 2nd fret. No matter what I do, I have that shape. And this is something you can practice without a guitar, learning the shapes of the chords. Okay, so that is the shape of an E minor chord. We're going to learn 2 more chords actually. We're going to take the same first and second finger, and this time we're just going to move it down, both of them 1 string. So we're just moving both of them exactly. It's just like no changing of the way the configuration of the shape. The shape is the same, it's just where I'm pressing. Here I'm pressing on the 5th and 4th, and here I'm pressing on the 4th and 3rd string. Now this chord, the one that's on the 4th and 3rd string, is called A Sus9. Very pretty sounding chord. It's not used all the time in pop music, so one of the things you could do is practicing back and forth between one and the other. Nice and pretty. Now if you need to stop to get your bearings to find the spot, go ahead and do it. You can go up and down, just getting a nice tone from the guitar. You could do this. Nice and pretty sound. Okay, so it's not really one way of playing with your right hand or your left hand actually. It's just getting a good tone, good sound. You don't want to go from strumming and all of a sudden change your sound completely where it just it collides with the strings. All right, so you got E minor here, and A sus. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add our 3rd finger to the equation, and our 3rd finger is going to slide in on the 2nd string. So now we have 3 fingers all crunched together, all pressing on the 2nd fret. So we're pretty much exhausting all the areas. Try the angle. Oh, there's a good angle. Of the 2nd fret. I have my 1st finger, my 2nd finger, and my 3rd finger. 4th string, 3rd, and 2nd string. Okay, and this is what it sounds like. Now, officially, this is an A chord. This is an A major chord. When we say, we don't have to always say major. We can just say A, an A chord, or we could say A major. You don't have to. You just say an A chord. People know what it is. It's an A chord. It's an A major chord. Okay, because it's just, everything is so close together. So I've been doing different ways. So 2 ways of doing this, or you can use your 2nd and 3rd fingers, which is actually probably the easiest for this situation. And then we add our pinky. E minor, using 2nd and 3rd fingers. And then the A7 sus, we're using our 2nd and 3rd. We can add our pinky, and now we make it into an A major chord. We can lift up, and we're now back to A sus. So just to recap, you can play an E minor chord with your 1st and 2nd finger. You can also play it with your 2nd and 3rd finger. You can also play it with your 3rd and 4th finger. It all depends on where you're going and what's the best way to get there. You want to find the straightest route from one to another. If I'm playing an E minor like this, and then I'm going to play A like this, I'm changing too many fingers. I think it's easier if I just keep the configuration the way it is and then just add the pinky. It seems a lot easier than doing this to this. Now you're changing a lot, and that's why I was having trouble, because I was trying to I combined the 2. So your best bet is, and if you're doing E like this, then it's easier to do this. So E minor to A like this, 2nd and third finger and the pinky, or with first and second fingers, and then adding the third finger. I'm just going to play through it both ways and do different things with it. Lifting. I'm lifting sometimes to make it A, the sus chord, and sometimes I'm going down with the pinky to make it a regular A chord. Now I'm doing it with my first and second fingers. I find this a little bit harder than doing it like this with these two fingers, second and third. This would be more my go-to doing this. But it depends on your hands too. Depends on how big your hands are sometimes, and that's why there's different ways of playing chords, because everybody has different size hands. What else I was gonna do? One last thing I'll tell you really quick. The open string. It was done by necessity because early days there were no lessons, so musicians had to figure out, guitar players, how to do things on their own without teachers. So one of the things was that to get, let's say, the same progression, it would take a little bit to get there. So what some guitarists would do, and this has become like part of the trademark of pop music, is you hit open string first and then you go to the next chord, like this. The open chord. So what I want to do is, and usually it's with an upstroke, I'm hitting that all open string. It works great in E minor, and it works pretty much anywhere, because this chord, these strings open, is tuned. And if it's tuned, now if your guitar is out of tune, it's not going to work. But if the guitar is tuned, all these open strings actually form a nice, pretty chord. It forms an E minor, D, which would be the it's seventh, E minor 7 with the A, E, F, G, with the 11, E minor 11, I believe. If you know the official name, but I think it's an E minor 11. The chord open like that. All right.